Welcome to the ABA Hair Challenge. I'm your host, Alain Audet. Tonight, we're going to reveal the results of our first challenge and see what the contestants have come up with. I can't wait to see that. But first, a reminder of what's at stake for our contestants. The winning contestants for each week will receive some amazing products to help build their own professional career. At the end of the 5 weeks, we will crown the first ABA Hair Challenge champion. The winner will receive one-on-one mentoring from one of our 5 expert mentors and over $15,000 in education and prizes from our 5 fabulous sponsors. Wow, a great opportunity for our contestants and a wonderful chance for our mentors to share their knowledge. So let's jump right in. Our first challenge was blow dry and style. Our contestants were each given the Nadine mannequin head to create and personalize a finished blow dry and style look. From sleek, smooth, wavy, full volume, trendy or classic, waves or curls, it was all up to the contestants. The final look had to show all the angles of the creation and was judged on overall execution, overall fashion look, artistic workmanship, and level of difficulty. All the contestants have submitted their 360 degrees videos showing off their work along with pictures of the front, back, and sides. Okay, let's see what the mentors have to say. This week, the challenge was blow dry and style. So before we get to meet the contestants and their entries, let's say hello to our mentors. I'm going to go clockwork. So first we have Michelle Finlayson of Schwarzkopf. Then we have Stephen Moody of Wella Professional. We have Michelle Pargy from Goldwell, Lisa Shore from Joico, and we have Sophia Yanantuano from L'Oreal Professional. So just in case you're worrying, they have seen those visuals and those finishes already, but they don't know who did what. So we have no idea which hair was done by who. We're going to find that out just at the end when the winner is actually announced. So why don't we start looking at the different looks? So mentors, do you have any comments to make about contestant number 1's creation? Who wants to start?
Sure.
There we go, Lisa.
I found it a little bit too stiff. And I can see powder or hairspray in there that I didn't really care too much for.
Thank you. Sophia, you were raising your hand as well.
Yes, I was. As I had mentioned in tips and tricks, often when we're juniors, it's only normal that the ends are going to be a bit less polished. So it's really important for your next challenges to remember to really polish those ends. Because as is contestant number 1, we noticed that the ends are a little bit frizzy. And maybe that's why she used a little bit too much product, is to try to get rid of those little flyaways. So remember to put nice heat, use your brushes to make them nice and smooth.
Stephen, you were also ready to say something.
Well done, contestant number 1. That was really great. I love the way that we could see the 360 image of what you did. And I love the little accessory on the neck. My suggestion moving forward is, remember this is a competition. Have a little bit of fun. And with the next upcoming challenges, let's try pushing the envelope a little bit.
Okay, Michelle Pargy, what do you think?
So I think what I'm going to do for every one of these challenges is give one critique and something positive, so I can show them both sides. So in the case of this one, I loved the use of the brush to create shape. It was obviously set in there with the blow dryer, and that was one of the things I wanted to see. So there was really a good defined style to it. The only thing I would love to see really different, and this is for everyone moving forward, it's one of my pet peeves on Instagram, is I always want to take a brush to something. I want to take a soft Mason Pearson brush and smooth it a little bit, because we need to see the shine and we need to see the movement. So stay away from the hairspray. Only use it when you have to, and get some shine in the hair.
Thank you. Michelle Finlayson.
All right. I thought that this particular contestant really pushed and did a really true nod to 40s. That wave set was really strong. The ridge was really strong. I thought the 360 was nice because it flowed totally through. The challenge that came up was the finish on it. It was a little dry, and that can happen when you're not brushing through the sections enough. And it could be just taking that surface down, a little bit of shine spray, hairspray over top, shine spray, hairspray over top. But your hairspray has got to be so light and really only use it when absolutely necessary. I also did feel that I really liked the little detail on the necklace. I thought that was a nice touch, but the sparkles were a little distracting for me. So I would say not to go there in the future.
Thank you very much. And now let's look at contestant number 2. Okay, we have a bit of an idea who that was if the arm belonged to somebody you recognize, but who knows who was turning that mannequin head. So Michelle Finlayson, we'll start with you.
The look for contestant number 2, I thought was so beautifully done. What a gorgeous blowout. And I mean, you cannot underestimate a good blow dry. I bet you the clients are lining up out the door for this particular stylist. She's clearly talented at getting that finish right. So for me, it was the fact that the hair was smooth, the pieciness was perfect. Everything had that really nice, intentional look to it. It kind of had this Cindy Crawford sort of 90s blowout vibe, which I loved. The one thing that I will say is in the front there, the swoop on the heavy side needed a little bit more work, a little bit more detail. That's a really big focal point. So you want to put some energy into the way that sits and make sure it doesn't look too heavy in the face.
Thank you. Michelle Parji.
Well, I agree with the other Michelle. If I was your client, I would be thrilled to walk out with that hair. You're obviously very good at it, and it's something you've practiced a lot. With that said, it feels a little safe to me. So I feel like you could push yourself a whole lot more than that. And I'd like to see for the next challenge, you go much, much further than what you're used to doing on a daily basis.
Thank you. Sophia, what do you think?
All right. Well, I agree with both Michelles. I do see the shine. I do see the experience. And I love also the vintage feel to it. Cindy Crawford was a great person to reference. And in terms of the side part, also be careful. I mean, it is a competition. So we want to make sure that we're not wearing too much of a commercial look. You have to show us something to say, hey, I deserve to win this challenge. So most definitely push your creativity just a little bit more. But the technical aspect is very strong. It's just more the creativity of it, the challenge of it that I would have liked to see a little bit more developed. But good job.
Thank you. Lisa.
I actually agree with all of the ladies that just spoke, which is kind of funny. I think it's a beautiful look for the weekend. I do believe that you're in a competition, and whatever you're doing kind of in the salon chair, it should be kicked up much, much more for the competition. I see that there's talent there. So just push yourself. Give it all that you have, plus more.
Thank you. Stephen, do you have anything more to comment?
I'm agreeing with the other judges, really. I think moving forward, and this doesn't only apply to participant number 2, it applies to everybody. Do something that scares you. And I'm not sure that what we've just seen, it scared that entrant. Do something that frightens you. Do something that scares you. Do something that's going to stand out from the other participants. And I think that's going to really kind of register with us, the judges.
Thank you very much. So now let's look at contestant number 3. Sophia, what do you think?
I love the creativity of this look by far. I love the fact that I was surprised by the color. When I mean surprised is I appreciate it to see the mannequin head, and especially, I mean, not that it counts for points, but I've colored a lot of mannequins in my professional life. And I know how difficult it is because they always tend to stain around the perimeter. So that was very fun to see. Technically, very nice shine. But like we said previously, And this is so normal for beginners, just too much hairspray, because we really want it to hold and it to keep the shape. So we always put too much hairspray. So once again, most definitely go in there past the brush once it's done. And I super appreciated the makeup, and like there's a fashion feel to it. So it was good job.
Thank you. Stephen, what do you have to say?
Thank you very much for coloring that doll head. I think yours was the only one that was colored, and obviously you put a lot of hard work in there. But to be really honest with you, it wasn't my cup of tea. It looked a little bit staid, a little bit old-fashioned. And I think moving forward, I'd really love to see you do something that's a little bit more edgy, that pushes the envelope.
Thank you. Michelle Pargy.
So I want to give you props for the fact that you really did try something different. And that is what we're asking you to do. You pushed yourself, and it was outside the box of what most of the others were looking like. With that said, I think last week when Michelle was giving some of her tips, Michelle Finlayson, she was talking about stepping back and looking at the look as a whole. So when you step back and you look at that one as a whole, the sides don't really make sense to each other. So I think your creativity was great, but you were looking at it section by section creatively. And I'd like to see the whole look have some more fluidity to it, and then a little bit less spray.
Thank you. Lisa, your turn.
I agree with the other mentors for sure. I really, really liked that it was colored. It grabbed my attention. I love that there was eyelashes on that mannequin. I like the small detail. I think that's, a little extra for sure. But definitely, like Michelle was saying, the balance is off. And, when you're looking at the 360, you want there to be flow with it. And another thought, instead of using hairspray, is maybe take a look at learning how to sew hair. Because you can do that if you want it to be in a certain place. So that might be a challenge just to throw out to you.
Thank you. And last judge, Michelle Finlayson.
Contestant number 3, this look was really pushing the envelope. I thought there was a lot of, energy and talent put into it. Kind of have this like Betty Page pinup girl sort of vibe. I did appreciate the color going into it. It was a little bit, I will agree with the other judges a little bit here that it was off balance, mainly from the front on. And that really is sometimes the most important visual balance check, is front on. The other thing that I would say is that there was this really beautiful focal point, which was that detailed side work. And I felt like I wanted to see more of it. I didn't see it highlighted in the still shots. And even in the 360 video, it was so quick. I wish that I could have seen more of it, because when you're putting that amount of effort and energy into your styling, we want to look at it a little longer so we can appreciate that work.
Well, thank you very much. So this was all for contestant number 3. So now let's move on with contestant number 4. Michelle Pargy, what do you think?
Well, first of all, there's some shine there. So I was really happy to see that. It has an overall good shape and continuity to the feel. My biggest critique for this look, and I think some of the others as well, is I can see the hot tool marks. I can see some places where there's some iron or maybe a brush kink. You really have to work to make sure that doesn't happen, because you want to see the fluids, you want to see the finish of the hair being extremely smooth and perfect. So that would be my advice, is make sure you can't see where your hot tools are touching the hair.
Thank you. Lisa, what do you think?
I really thought it was nicely polished. The shine really grabbed my attention right off the hop. As a slight critique, I do find that the left side was a little bit weaker. What you could do maybe in future is maybe add a clip, just to kind of strengthen that out a little bit more when it's to pull back. But overall, I really like that it was polished and that there was shine to it.
Thank you. So Sophia.
Yes, well, I definitely agree with the other judges. It was beautiful, it was polished, it was smooth. It didn't feel crispy, so it didn't feel like there was an overabuse of hairspray, which I think that was very refreshing. And I also agree with Lisa that the left side is a little bit weaker than the right side. And just be careful when we do give a bit of that beautiful classic wave over here to make sure that it has more of a C-shaped wave a lot. And this also is very frequent with a new talent where they want to have the volume. So what they do is they start it straight up and said, remember to over direct it back, build it, and then bring it over. So you're really getting more of a swoop than just a straight line and then it like doing a bit of a cathedral on top. So remember the C shapes, which are very natural and appealing to the eye. But definitely excellent job in terms of finishing. I really appreciated that. Thank you.
Do I have a C shape?
You have a beautiful C shape. I love your C shape.
Perfect.
It's my inspiration.
Phew, I did it right. Thank you. Okay, Michelle, your turn to give your critique.
I thought the stylist did a really incredible job. I thought the shine was really strong. It looked like the product choices were good. It wasn't over the top with the hairspray. It looked like it was touchable. I think it got borderline, like even a little bit extra hairspray. It might have been too much, but I think it finished just right. It was a bit of a softer look, a little bit more of that like red carpet. Like I kind of see that Jessica Chastain with that beautiful side wave. The one thing that I found is that the swoop was absolutely gorgeous and really continued with great execution on the detailed side. But as it went around and we got to that lighter side, it really dropped a bit, and not just the curl pattern, but also the finish on the surface of the hair. So I would have liked to see the execution that I saw on that detailed side, on the heavy side, really carry through all the way to the other side. But outside of that, I thought the swoop game was on point.
Thank you, Stephen.
Well done, participant number 4. I love the shine. I loved how the hair moved a little bit too. I don't know if you had a dryer going on in the background or that was air conditioning. But I love the shine. I love the high ridges. But again, like all the other participants, I would encourage you to think outside of the box of what is the category. So push the envelope.
Thank you for your comments. Now, that was all for contestant number 4. So let's now look at our last entry, contestant number 5. And let's start with the critique from Stephen.
Well done, number 5. I really found your look to be quite pleasing from a 360 angle. Some things to think about is the lighting. Obviously, as a judge, we can only look and comment on what we see. And I don't know your lighting was as good as it could be.
Thank you. Michelle Finlayson.
I really loved this look. I thought it was well executed. It looked like the set was really strong. There wasn't too much product. I feel like it was boyfriend friendly or touchable hair. And it actually brought this vintage classic look into a more modern sort of red carpet or modern bride feel as well. So I really thought that the look overall was strong. The one thing that I would point out is just the movement off the scalp. If you do your blow dry in advance to match the curl pattern that you're going to be putting in with your set, you can really get the movement right from the roots into the curl without any bubbles or hiccups. So that can really help bring this look to that next level. But overall, I thought absolutely beautifully done and really, really well finished.
Thank you. Sophia, what do you think?
Oh, well, I appreciated the style very much. It was very fun, romantic. Definitely a critique to remember for your other looks. When you're doing a part, I personally like it when it's going a little bit from the forehead, the highest point of the eyebrow, going more towards the crown. You're creating a slight of a diagonal, which is more naturally pleasing to the eye. So remember that when you're parting the hair. Sometimes just one straight part front to back, it looks a bit more square. So if you're looking more for shape, then go with a slight diagonal. So it's going to put the hair definitely, it's going to give it a different shape, a bit more feminine, a bit more small, a bit more tight. So where you want to have the volume, it'll look even more voluminous than if you go with more of a square part. But good job. It did look smooth, so that was fun. And remember, as Michelle said before, to work the little tip and trick to work with the hair shine. You could brush it, and then just, if you need, just a little bit of hairspray.
Well, I don't know about the contestants, but I'm learning a lot through these comments. This is amazing.
Sure.
Thank you very much, everyone. So we have 2 more comments to hear from. Let's hear from Lisa.
I thought contestant number 5, very well executed. As a little bit of a critique, if your set is strong enough, you should be able to brush it like crazy and it's not going to go anywhere. So always keep that in mind if your set is done well. One little tip, trying to get those ends at the very bottom to knit together. You could do a very, very slight back combing from underneath. It just helps knit it together, but overall, very well done.
Thank you. And to finish those comments, Michelle Parji.
So again, well, like everyone said, well done with the shine. I think you did a really good job. What I think I want to say to you as a critique, but to also everyone moving forward for next week, is I want to approach this as if when I'm teaching my photo shoots, I say to everybody, stop thinking like you're a stylist in a salon for these challenges, and think about creating something for, say, a high fashion magazine. Think of it as Italian Vogue. If this was Italian Vogue, what would you see on the page there? And if you saw it on the page, your work on the page, would you stop at it and it would feel like it fit in, or would it look out of place? So create things that look at that level. You're going for high fashion from now on.
Well, thank you very much, 5 mentors. That was very generous of all of you. So now we'll see you again next week with the second challenge. Well, clearly our contestants have put a lot of effort into the first challenge, and they received plenty of great advice for next week. Our contestants got together, virtually of course, to chat about how they faced the first challenge.
Challenge number 1, I had a lot of fun doing something old school, leaving the brushes in the hair, staying away from hot tools, using that brush, giving it heat to give it body, giving it that natural wave. So I really took the judges' advice and kind of giving my mannequin a name, giving her what she does, who is she, like a natural vibe. This is a blow dry that I've done on all my clients. This is what clients come to me for, is just a natural blow dry.
So I really had to go back to the foundations and the basics of hair school. It brought back so many memories, and it really took a lot for me not to really go back to the mentors' tips and not second guess what I was going to do. I wanted to create something that was expensive and glamorous, but also timeless at the same time. So I really clued into the mentors' tips to make sure that I hit each one of those on the head. And yeah.
I really love challenge 1. I cut my teeth in this industry with blow dries, and it was one of my favorite things in my repertoire, and I was able to showcase what I can really do with a really nice blow dry and style. I loved it.
I found challenge 1 really interesting. I had kind of all the basic skills in my head, and I knew kind of how I would approach it, but having to actually do those skills from hair school and go back to things that we don't necessarily do every day was really interesting. And it was really fun to just create something kind of timeless and elegant. And yeah, but it was definitely interesting to get to use some skills that you don't get to use all the time.
So for challenge number 1, it was fun to go back to the basics. I took in what all the judges said, and I really wanted to just work with a blow dry and a round brush and manipulate the hair. The hardest part was probably realizing that this was going to be judged, and I just had to make sure I wasn't in that focus, because I find that when you feel worried or stressed, you interfere with your creativity. So I had to get out of there and just focus on sharing my work.
Well, clearly I don't shy away from a color, so I'm really excited for challenge 2. I live in a world of creative artists, Contessa winners, all of that. I'm really excited to showcase to the judges what I can bring to the table, and I think I'm going to exceed their expectations in this challenge.
So for challenge 2, I'm really excited to create a story for my creation. I'm excited to give my client, my mannequin, a personality and really create a color story for them. And I really just want to create something that feels like me and brings out my personality and my creativity and create something that I'm really proud of.
So for challenge number 2, I'm going to try to take what I do over here and put it on a mannequin. So my mannequin is going to be my canvas, and I'm going to go wild.
Challenge number 2, I definitely want to challenge myself and do something that I've never done before. Get something that really pop, something that'll scare the judges.
So for me, I'm really excited to get use of that color wheel and bring to life what lights fire to my soul. And I want to create a color that shows my passion and my love for this industry, and I can't wait to pull some strings and get it all together for ya.
The moment has come. The scores have been tabulated, and the winner of the Blow Dry and Style Challenge is contestant number 5, Sarella Rain Wilson Warner. Congratulations. You have won a Gamma IQ dryer courtesy of Backstage Commerce, a value of over $400. Wow, big congratulations to Sarella. All right, it's time to introduce the second challenge. Our next challenge is dimensional color. Our contestants have each been given the Lana mannequin head to bring their best color story to life, with multicoloring from tone on tone to highlighting techniques or a version of balayage. Showing off their creativity through color placement, the contestants are also allowed to trim or clean up the mannequin head as needed for their look, and of course style the doll's head to ensure that the color story is presented in the best possible way. The final look will be judged on overall execution, overall fashion look, artistic workmanship, and the level of difficulty. To help our contestants create a winning dimensional color look, our mentors have once again some fabulous tips.
My tip for the second challenge is, even though I cut and style all of my own work, I'm best known for coloring. And I'm hoping to see contestants think a little bit outside the box for this one. A minimum of 3 colors. I really want to see your creativity come to life. So don't be afraid. Perhaps find inspiration in something in nature. You can take an object, a single object, a leaf, and look at all the colors in it and look at how they harmonize together. And think about how that works in a color palette. So the difference of the tone, nature never gets it wrong. So I'll be looking for clean applications, proper sectioning, depth, and detail that pops out. So you should have some area that is like a color pop, some detail area to catch our attention.
My tip for the second challenge, which is dimensional color, is to make sure that you fully saturate your mannequin. Take fine sections, as the mannequin is going to need more color. And whatever cut you choose, make sure that your color emphasizes and enhances that cut.
My tip for dimensional color is look no further than the classic artists. Look how they make darker shades, darker palettes recede into the canvas. And then the opposite is true. They make brighter, lighter, stronger colors come out of the canvas and meet your eye. So maybe think about using no more than 3 separate tones. That's quite enough to work color in there. But look at making your look dimensional by playing tricks on the eye. And remember, darker, muted colors recede. Lighter, brighter colors pop.
Hey everyone, my tip for challenge number 2 is actually 2 parts. Number 1, you have to do whatever it takes to make that color perfect and bring your vision to reality. So that means be prepared to color the hair multiple times if you need to. When I'm doing a shoot or working backstage for a hair show or launching a collection, I know that that hair might not be a single process job. So regardless of what it takes, you always go the extra mile to make your color perfect. And with that being said, the second part I want to say is that color is light. It is a reflection of light. So make sure when you're showing your work to us that the lighting is set up to really give justice to what you've created.
So my tip for getting depth in color is very technical in reality. It's to work with vertical separations. So that's one of the things I do whenever I work with color and I want to get some depth. So if I want some popping effect to come out, if you want some blonde to pop up, then what you're going to do is you're going to do a prescription color. So invent your own color and make it up and have fun in the color lab. Don't just use one color. Use different shades that logically are going to work well together. And when you're going to place them, instead of placing them in a horizontal separation on the head, go ahead, have fun, and discover the vertical. The vertical is going to add you the depth, and it's going to give you length also in your color. So go out there and have some fun with color.
Thank you, mentors. Fantastic tips. Contestants, as Sophia said, now it's time to have fun with color. Make sure to tune in next Monday, 7 p.m. EST, to see the results of the second challenge and see what's in store for challenge number 3. In the meantime, please visit abacanada.com/hair challenge to find out more about the contestants and especially to vote for your favorite look. See you next week.